attempts to recover. The November canola contract dips 20 cents at $913.40 per ton. The January contract is down 50 cents at $894.40 per ton. Weekly canola exports plummeted more than 93%, according to the Canadian Grain Commission. For the week ending August 22nd, exports were all of 6,200 tons. Domestic usage of canola fell back about 10.5% at 138,000 tons, while producer deliveries were up about 6% at nearly 107,000 tons. The markets will continue to position ahead of the Stats Canada production report on Monday. Expectations are for canola production this year to be 11.5 million to 16 million tons. The average trade projections for Canadian spring wheat is at 15.9 million tons, with Durham at 4.1 million. Rain is in the prairie forecast over the weekend, with the greatest amounts to be in the eastern half of the region. Temperatures are to improve from below average into the low to mid 20 degrees Celsius. The Canadian dollar is slightly lower this morning. The loonie is at 78.92 US cents compared to Thursday's close of 79.05. The United States Department of Agriculture reports 2 private sales this morning. One is for 129,000 tons of soybeans to China. The other is for 150,000 tons of corn to Colombia. Delivery of both is to be during the upcoming marketing year. Rounding off prices at the Chicago Board of Trade, soybean futures are lower on Friday. The November contract is down 8 cents at $13.18 per bushel. October soy oil drops back more than a half cent at 59.7 US cents per pound. October soy meal gives up $3.50 at $350.10 per short ton. Corn futures are mixed on Thursday, with the December contract down 2 cents at $5.49 per bushel. Chicago oats are higher, with the December contract gaining 6 cents at $5.17. Wheat futures are slightly higher on Friday. Chicago December bumps up a half cent at $7.40. Kansas City December gains a penny at $7.29. And Minneapolis December is up 3 cents at $9.14. That's a look at the ICE futures and the Chicago markets for Friday morning, August 27th. For Markets Farm in Winnipeg, I'm Glenn Halleck.
The demands and long days of the harvest season are ahead. So now's the time to get the equipment you need to work more productively and harvest more savings too. Visit Butler Farm Equipment in Fort St. John during New Holland Harvest Days for more ways to work your best and save. You'll find great deals on select New Holland tractors, hay tools, and harvesting equipment, including 0% financing and cash back. Stop by Butler Farm Equipment in Fort St. John today for details. But hurry, Harvest Days end September 30th, 2021.
The opinions expressed during this show do not represent those of this station. If you've missed any of this show, you can follow the podcast at energeticcity.ca. Now, an in-depth look at the news and information shaping our community. This is Moose Talks with your host, Doug Craig, on Moose FM.
Welcome to the show. A little later on, masks are back among a lot of other announcements that the BC government made earlier this week. So we're going to check in with our local MLA, Dan Davies. He's, of course, the MLA for Peace River North. We're going to chat with him about how he feels about all those announcements and what's coming up for them as the legislature opens later in September. But first, August 31st is Overdose Awareness Day. So to talk a bit about how we can help reduce the stigma, we're joined now by Heather Boswell with MomStopTheHarm.com and the local opioid crisis support group. Good morning. Welcome back to Moose Talks, Heather.
Good morning, and thank you.
Thank you very much for taking some time to chat with us today. So as I mentioned, you were on recently, maybe a month or a month and a half ago, to talk a bit about your opioid crisis support group that you formed for people who have experienced loss due to overdose. So I wanted to first kind of check in with that. How's the group been going? Have you been seeing lots of people come out and making strides with it?
I've had many people contact me through Facebook, but unfortunately only 2-3 people at a time. Last week there was nobody, so it's a work in progress.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's kind of all about reducing the stigmas. So I mean, it can take some time for people to want to, I guess, appear in person. But do you see it as good news that people have been reaching out to you on Facebook and are at least curious about what's happening?
Definitely. That's the first and I think hardest step is reaching out. So once that happens, then we can move forward for sure. So yeah, I am.
Okay. Now, for people who don't know and maybe missed that episode earlier, can you tell us a bit about kind of what the group is about and what the kind of the goal of the group is, if there really is a goal?
Well, there is a goal. Basically, it's a group where people who have lost loved ones, there's really nowhere to go in this town. There's a lot of amazing groups, but there's nowhere to go to talk to people who've been through the exact same thing you have. So it's just a group where we sit down. If you want to talk and share, you can, but I want people to feel they're not alone in this fight. That's the main objective.
Excellent. Now, you're also with momstoptheharm.com, and they've got a few things planned for Overdose Awareness Day coming up on August 31st. That's next Tuesday. So we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. But we happen to be in the middle of an election, and governments can, at least in some theory, help be part of the solution to these problems, of course, by providing money for supports and whatnot, and supports for even groups like yours that are trying to end the stigma. What are you looking for when parties are out making promises for how they're going to spend money should they be elected to government come September 20th? What are you kind of listening for from all the parties?
Well, I'm listening for somebody to say more than just provide more beds, because that's a start, but then we have to start providing safe injection sites. We have to start providing a safe drug supply. So that's really important. And there's some of the parties totally shy away from that, and some won't even touch it. So I want to see that happen. We need more mental health. That's the biggest thing, is mental health. So that's what I'm waiting for.
Do you think it's helpful when leaders like the Prime Minister or the leaders of the parties, or even just people running in this riding we're in, when they step up and talk about it, when they talk about their experiences, if they have to have one, or just say, hey, I'm holding space for people who have lost loved ones to overdose, who are experiencing overdoses, who kind of live a life where they're maybe struggling with a drug addiction or what have you. Is that helpful to you?
I think the problem with the leaders is they'll say something and they'll say, oh, I've been there, I felt this, and then it's dropped. It's never discussed again. So to me, it doesn't feel real. I feel like they're just playing to an audience and they're not being real, because you don't just talk about it once and then that's it. You continue to talk about it. You fight for it. And I don't feel they do that.
Okay. Let's get to the Overdose Awareness Day, which I think, any sort of awareness day is there to help us start the conversation, get more people talking about it. A day of awareness like this, why is it so important to you and others who have experienced a loss due to overdose?
Well, it brings more feeling of community and knowing that there's more people out there fighting the good fight. So it's not you just struggling, feeling alone. It's everybody doing it, and it's making people aware.
Aware that there's your friends and neighbors are experiencing this, and we need to talk about it, I suppose.
For sure, because it's like you said, and it is a stigma, and people don't talk about it. So hopefully this will open it up more when they see all these different groups.
And as I said, momstoptheharm.org. Actually, before we go to that, why don't you tell us a bit about, momstoptheharm.com. My apologies, is actually the website there.
That's okay.
Tell us a bit about what that is and what that group kind of represents, is all about. And we'll talk about what they're doing for Overdose Awareness Day in just a moment.
Okay, basically Moms Stop the Harm unofficially formed in 2015 with three ladies, Petra, Leslie, and Lorna. They do more than just offer a support for grief. They're also fighting for the drug policies that are outdated and need to be fixed. They're doing more. You'll read articles where they're in Alberta. They're talking about taking Alberta government to court because of the safe injection site issues. So they're very, very large. We advocate for everything to help people.
And what sort of things do they have planned for Overdose Awareness Day then? I saw there seems to be a few events you can kind of partake in via video on the website.
Mm-hmm. Every different area has something different. They offer different things. In this particular area, when I'm there, we're going to be doing, we have masks. I have plain white masks. And what we're going to do is we're going to write the name of the loved one on the forehead, and then we're going to paint it and decorate it and then take pictures at the end of it for Moms Stop the Harm, to show people that these people have loved ones and they're hiding behind it so they don't have to worry about the stigma. And I feel that that might help bring us all a little closer too.
Okay,
that's what we're doing, but there's other people doing other things as well, right? Each area is doing something different.
Oh, wait, so there is.
So I guess it depends where you're looking.
I'm sorry for interrupting you, Heather. So there is something happening locally in town here, I suppose, eh?
Oh, of course. This is my third one I've been to, and I'm really excited about this one for sure. I will be honest, I got the idea off a Disturbed video, Hold On to Memories, and I actually sent a message to him to let him know that I planned on doing this because I thought it was a really good way to reach out to people. So yeah, that's what we're doing here.
Okay. How can people, if they're hearing this and they say, you know, I'd like to participate in some way, how can they get involved? What can they do to get into it?
Well, it's been, sometimes I feel like I'm fighting by myself, but then people like Nancy and Martha and everybody is all coming together as a group, and we're fighting these things. People can definitely help. There's so much that can be done, whether it be writing our local MLAs or writing, you know, the Prime Minister, whatever. There's so much that can be done, that the more the merrier, basically. So they can help us with things like that.
All right, Heather. And for more information about this, of course, you can check out momsstoptheharm.com. And Heather, for your opioid crisis support group, how do people get in touch and participate in that?
Well, they can go onto my Facebook site, which is Support Group for People Who've Lost Loved Ones to the Opioid Crisis. Or they can call me on my cell. It doesn't matter. I will reach out to anybody, because some people are afraid to actually get onto Facebook, or they don't have it. So like, they can call my cell at 250-793-8817 if they don't have Facebook. So yes.
Okay. And can they just show up too? Is that possible? Like when you guys have a meeting?
Oh, for sure. Everybody's invited. I mean, even people who have loved ones that are struggling through addiction are more than welcome to come as well.
Okay. And where can they, remind us where we go and kind of what time it's usually at?
It's usually at 7, so 7 to 8 on Wednesdays at the Treaty 8 Tribal Building by the Lido Theater on 100th Avenue.
Excellent. Well, Heather, I'm grateful that you reached out to make sure we talked about this today, and I'm grateful you made some time to talk to us about this today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Hope to see you down there.
Absolutely. That's Heather Boswell with momsstoptheharm.com. We'll be right back to talk with Dan Davies right after this on Moose Talks.
Those busy weeknights are coming. You know, those nights everyone gets home from work and school and dinner needs to be made before you help your youngest with homework and take your oldest to hockey practice, or is it football? Doesn't matter. You're not worried. You went to M&M Food Market for meats, salads, sides, even fully prepared meals to make those crazy weeknights just a little bit easier. Shop online at mmfoodmarket.com for click and collect and curbside delivery. M&M Food Market at the north end of Totem Mall.
Choosing childcare is a big decision. Parents want to know their child is safe and well cared for, having fun and learning new things. They want their childcare to be somewhere their child wants to go every day, a home away from home, and that's what you'll find at the YMCA. Discover why YMCA childcare is so much more than you'd expect from a childcare center. It's where your child will learn, grow, and thrive. Register today. Visit mbc.ymca.ca.
Are you looking for the right individual to fill your job openings? Become an exhibitor at the Fort St. John Job Fair, September 29th at the Palmeray Hotel and Conference Center. This is an opportunity for you to meet talented local people for your company. To become an exhibitor, visit fsjjobfair.ca or call 250-787-7100. The Fort St. John Job Fair, September 29th at the Palmeray Hotel and Conference Center. Learn more about our COVID-19 safety plan by visiting our website. Presented by WorkBC and Moose FM.
When you hear the term summer fun, you think about pools, beaches, and all kinds of outdoor activities. But this summer, you can have some fun indoors too, with help from Veronica's Closet. Stop in and see Veronica's selection of couples wee vibes, fleshlights for men, board games, and massage candles, which are never hot enough to burn your skin. Plus new designer tanning and skin lotion, beautiful new bodysuits, wigs, and more. Veronica's Closet, your all-grown-up store on 93rd Avenue.
It is super hot, so Tim's has come up with the perfect solution. Our new real fruit quenchers, made with real fruit juice from concentrate. They come in 2 delicious flavors, peach or our strawberry watermelon.
Wow, that is thirst quenching.
New this summer at participating restaurants.
Pretty bird, pretty bird. Oh, you're such a pretty bird.
If you're looking for your next feathered friend, stop into Friendly Pets. They have a great selection of sweet little parakeets and parrots in all kinds of beautiful colors. Plus, the Friendly Pets team can answer all your bird-related questions and can help set you up with everything you need to care for your bird, including food, toys, bird cages, and more. Friendly Pets, where best friends are made, on 99th Ave in Fort St. John and at friendlypets.ca.
Can-Do Oilfield Services is a privately owned pipeline and facility installation company in Fort St. John. They strongly believe in executing all their jobs, functions in a safe, cost-effective, timely manner. Can-Do Oilfield Services is a proud supporter of the oil and gas industry.
Watch this show live on Facebook or download the podcast at energeticcity.ca.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Dub Craig. Now, we sat down with Peace River North MLA Dan Davies earlier to discuss the many announcements the BC government made earlier this week in regards to COVID-19 measures going forward. They, of course, include mask mandates return, vaccine passport, and back to school mandates and whatnot. So we talked to him about that. Here's that conversation. Thanks for joining us on Moose Talks, Dan. Let's dig right into the vaccine passport first. Premier announced Monday that all BC residents will need some proof of COVID-19 vaccination to access bars and restaurants, theaters, sporting events, etc. as of September 13th. What do you make of this concept, first of all, of the vaccine passport?
Well, thanks, first of all, Dub, for having me on the show today. All we need to do is look back into the past 18, 20 months and just look at how the NDP has rolled out any of the programs, any of the media, anything around the COVID-19 has been dismal. We have a number of questions, Dub, as well as many other people in not only this riding but across the province. What does this look like? How is this going to support businesses? Because we've been hearing a lot from the business community around the policing of this. What does that look like? And, Bonnie Henry a couple days ago said, there will be supports that they'll be providing, including, by law enforcement. Well, are they going to be paying the city of Fort St. John for by law enforcement of this? This is already, we're starting to see so many questions around what this looks like. And again, it just seems like this is a government that is shooting from the hip without really any long-term thoughts around this. And, Dub, we just need to look at how the announcements rolled out. I mean, Monday they made this massive announcement around the vaccines. And then Tuesday, they're talking about the back to school program. Oh, by the way, masks are mandatory. I mean, it just seems like this is developing as they go without or with minimal planning in. So it just, there are so many questions that I'm going to be taking. And I'll tell you, I've been hearing from a lot of people. I've been on the phone constantly for the last few days, trying to work my way through the backlog and taking all of these questions. And we will be asking government these questions as best we can. And obviously, when we're back in the legislature here in a number of weeks, we'll be asking those hard questions as well.
Now, I mean, you put out a statement on Facebook saying, a lot of things. But one of the things, of course, you said is, I am for vaccines. I think everyone should get them. But I support the person's right to choose for themselves what they think is best for them. Do you think the concept of a vaccine passport is the right move? Or Is there something better that the government should be doing that, in your mind, would be fairer or more efficient, however it happens to be?
Well, we have exactly those questions. How did government come to this point? We just need to look back again, 6 or so weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, there was the big conversation around the lotteries, and a number of provinces used a lottery if you went and got your vaccine, and it did. There was huge uptake on that and getting people out. And the premier at the time says, no, we don't need. We're going well the direction that we're heading. We don't need to do anything. And so all of a sudden, here we have the passports, and it is, and I will say it is a slippery slope that we need to be very, very aware. The NDP government, again, I look back at some things that have been said just recently. In fact, 3 months ago, the premier himself said that COVID-19 has exacerbated the inequities amongst people. And he had no intentions of introducing a vaccine passport. So how did they get to this conclusion where we're at now? And those are the questions that we need to be asking. Are there better options? Probably there were. And those are the questions that we're going to be asking: is how did government get to this position? What were those conversations? I mean, we've been hearing lots around different organizations, whether we're talking the BC Chamber, whether we're talking, the Vancouver Board of Trade, who have come out in support of this. But what was that conversation look like? Were they backed into a corner where, it was a worse option over a bad option? There's so many questions that we need to be asking. And just to let the listeners know as well, I mean, we had, we did not know that this was coming. We basically find out when the public finds out. We're not part of those conversations, but those are hard questions that we need to be asking.
Now, I will say, if there's something perhaps good that's coming out of this right now, it's that it seems to suggest, at least since the announcement, that vaccine registrations to getting vaccines, they've gone up significantly. And this, again, is only based on the 2 days since, it was announced. Do you think the province will still keep this going and implement kind of the vaccine passport, despite how, even if vaccines go up, even if they go up here in the Northeast, for example, where we're still kind of sitting at the mid-50s? Do you think this is an actual thing, or is it kind of a bit of a scare tactic by the NDP to say, get your crap together, everybody, because this is what's going to happen?
Well, I'll tell you, there's little doubt that this is coercion. Doesn't matter how you slice it. This is government, backing people, into the proverbial corner to make a decision. Again, the question poses: what are the other options out there? Were there better avenues that government could have taken? Those are the questions. It is good to see, I guess, their triple the average has been registered. I understand Monday, Tuesday alone, there was over 19,000 people registered for their vaccination. I don't think, the American approving agency, the FDA has approved Pfizer, and they're expected to make the same decision on the others. I think that has also helped as well. But I don't think this is all about hesitancy necessarily, or maybe people that are not in favor of vaccines. We live in an area that we don't get along summer. And this has been one of those summers where I think it was, after last year's summer that didn't really happen, let's be honest. I think people were focused on other things this summer, and, getting out with their families, connecting with people that we haven't been able to do. So I don't think that this has necessarily been, I don't want to get the vaccine. It's, maybe I'm not ready right now. I've got other things that are more important. So I think that probably some of those people would be like, I guess, now we have no choice and we have to go get it. So, but yeah, I'm not sure. Time will tell, Doug, if government made the right decision here. And We're going to, obviously my job as an opposition member of the legislature is to bring all the concerns from constituents and businesses and let government know that if this was a right decision or this wasn't a right decision. And that's what I'll be doing, holding them to account.
Now, we only have about 2 minutes left, so we'll make this quick. The other announcement you alluded to already, back to school, couched inside that announcement was also masks are back for public spaces. What did you make of the back to school measures? Did they surprise you at all? Did that seem to come out of nowhere, or are you happy with what they said?
Well, I wouldn't say I'm surprised. We left off the school year in June with masks. We had a bit of a reprieve, and obviously the talking points from government, from the different organizations within the schools, were kind of always alluding to masks. But again, Dub, this goes to, we've been 18 months now in this pandemic, and I don't think any government has been very clear in messaging. One day it's this, the next day it's that. One jurisdiction says this is a good idea, the other jurisdiction says no, this is horrible, and then you have the UN that says this is good. And it's little wonder that the public is frustrated because of the incredible mixed messages that we are being bombarded with. And then add social media into that whole formula. It's little wonder that people are at their wits' end regarding what's going on. So the schools, again, there are mixed things. It's no different than in businesses. Everyone needs to be wearing a mask. Everyone needs to be vaccinated now to go to a business, but the employees fall under a whole different thing. It's the same in schools. So when you start having, this messaging that is all over the place, people start asking questions. And I think that's where we're at. As an opposition, is we're asking these questions on behalf of businesses and on behalf of constituents. And I do encourage everybody, as I put in my Facebook post, and I've been telling other media outlets, email the Premier at premier@gov.bc.ca, CC me, dan.davies.mla@leg.bc.ca. It's important, I think, that government and our Premier listens and hears the concerns that are out there. Not just in Peace River North and in the Northeast, but there are people that are vaccinated, that are pro-vaccine, that are also questioning the avenue to which the NDP government has taken. So it's important that the Premier hear.
All right, Dan, we're going to have to leave it there, but I really appreciate you taking a few minutes for us during a very busy time for you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dub. Have a fantastic day.
That's Dan Davies, the MLA for Peace River North. We'll be right back to wrap things up on Moose Talks right after this.
After a full day of back-to-school shopping, relax at one of Grand Prairie's preferred hotels. With any stay, receive a $50 gift certificate to be used at any merchant in the Prairie Mall. Plus, you'll be entered into the draw for a Prairie Mall prize pack and shopping spree valued at $2,000. Details and entry online, gprda.com.
Stay at Grand Prairie's Service Plus Inns and Suites. Enjoy newly renovated rooms, water park, and a deluxe hot breakfast included. Call 780-538-3900.
The washer's $9.99 at the guys in orange, and at the guys in blue, at the guys in red, and it's $9.99 at City Furniture.
Everyone has a price guarantee, but at City Furniture, you get the same low prices as the box store, plus the superior service of a local independent. And in the rare case there's a problem with the product, you don't deal with someone hiding behind a 1-800 number. You have real people here who can help. See why the City Furniture model has succeeded for 40 years and continues to grow.
If you're looking for hassle-free internet services, call the Peace Region Internet Society today. With coverage throughout most of the Peace, PRIS can get you connected quickly without the hassle of contracts or bundles. Visit PRIS.ca or call 1-800-768-3311 for more information.
Our community first. This is Moose Talks with Dub Craig on Moose FM.
Our thanks to our guests Heather Boswell and Dan Davies for joining us today. Make sure you stay up to date on all your local news over at energeticcity.ca, including local federal election stories. We'll be inviting all the candidates in our riding to appear on Moose Talks over the next few weeks, chat about what they're about and how they would represent you in Ottawa should they be elected. That does it for this episode of Moose Talks. This show was produced by Trey Lopashinsky. I'm Dub Craig. Take care.
Join us next Friday at 10 a.m. for another episode of Moose Talks, a weekly talk show about Fort St. John and the North Peace.
Napit Industries and the Fort St. John Co-op are proud to